Good afternoon, everybody. We're here at Expo Real on the Krakow stand, and I'm here talking with Hadley Dean, the CEO of EPP, the largest retail shopping center owner in Poland. Hadley, thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. We know you're busy, but we just want to ask you a few questions while we got a few minutes to catch you here. Tell us a little bit about what you see for the let's say continuing investment potential here in Poland for the retail market.
Well, I mean, look, what's really interesting about Poland is, I think many of us know, is that when you look at the Polish real estate market, you have to look at the Polish middle class, which is evolving and maturing and are now starting to consume like Western Europeans. And so the beauty of the fact that, Poland is not only the largest country in Central Eastern Europe, but it also has the biggest spread of wealth out of any of the Central European countries. It's not just the top 5% of the country that's doing well. This middle class now is spread all over the country. And that's what we're particularly excited about, and particularly when you put it in context of Germany. So not only are people now shopping in Poland like Western European markets, but the average salary in Poland is a third of what it is in Germany. So there's plenty of room to grow.
And looking at some of your reports and financial reports, it looks like the regional cities are doing a lot better than probably originally thought they would do. Yeah.
No, I think that's been quite surprising for a lot of people. But it was no surprise to us, because we were studying in October, November 2016. What we saw was the biggest increase in footfall and turnover were in some of our smaller, what we call these regional cities, what we call power cities, and this is typically cities which has a catchment area of about 250,000 people. But that's where you're seeing the biggest increase in disposable income. It's not in the big cities, and this is obviously coming from the economy, it's coming from 500 plus, it's coming from the EU infrastructure funds linking these smaller cities with the bigger regional cities, and that actually has been, the biggest surprise for many people, but it wasn't a surprise for us. As you know, we bought many regional shopping centers in 2017 before anyone figured it out.
And everyone thought it was going to grow at 3 or 5%, and I think you're growing at double digits in these regional cities.
That's correct.
Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Good. Well done on that. So what do you see as far as Europe and Poland as potential for retail? How do you see the market growing? And if you want to say a few words about how you see online sales affecting your relations with retailers and customers coming into the shopping centers.
Sure. So I mean, look, there's no secret. In the US, the analysts are heavily penalising retail landlords because, one, they're oversupplied, and two, a lot of retailers that should have gone bust during 2009, 2010 were bought by private equity companies that have got 3 times their money, and now a lot of these companies are going into receivership. Now, Poland is different, and it's primarily different because, one, 70% of all shopping is done in shopping centres in Poland, i.e. bricks and mortar.
Right.
2, you've got no high streets. 3, Poles view shopping as a leisure activity, not a sort of a transaction. They meet for friends and family, have an ice cream, and now increasingly have a burger. But also, and this is what people just don't know. So there's one thing in this interview you should listen to, it's this, is that retailers are telling us consistently that over 50% of their online sales in Poland are click and collect.
Oh, that's good news for them then.
It's great.
Good news for the
and it's great news for landlords too.
Sure.
So, and the reason is that click and collect is so powerful because of 3 reasons. Is one, your average Pole compared to your average German has 1.4 jobs.
Okay.
So I mean, as we know, Poles are very entrepreneurial. They often have 2 companies there. They have the company they work for.
3 mobile phones doing deals all the time.
So they're just leaving home earlier and getting home later. The second reason is that the average purchase price in Poland is 50% of what it is in Germany on an online sale. So it's 50 zlotys versus 100 zlotys in Germany. But the delivery costs are 85% of what they are in Germany. So what it means is that why would you order something online and have it spend €2 having delivered to a flat you're just simply not at?
Right, yeah.
And the third reason is, again, as we know, Poles they're very traditional by nature. They don't like giving financial personal financial data into the internet ether. They'd
Yeah,
much
sure,
rather would browse at home, look online, and on their way home, they say, that's where I want to pick it up. They quickly go in and look in the store, and of course the retailers love it because, as we all know, is for every online click and collect, they usually, for every 10 euros they spend another 3 euros in the store.
Oh, great. So another 30% of sales then.
Yes.
So, well, maybe that answers my next question: is why did EPP change the strategy from looking at offices to going 100% on retail?
Well, it's not that offices are a bad market at all. In fact, they offer a very, very good investment class. But we are of the belief as a management team, you need to be focused in one asset type. And you've got Global Worth, who are extremely good at what they do, which is just offices, and we believe we're extremely focused and very good at what we do, which is retail. So we are selling our offices now to, let's say, help fuel our growth in retail. It's not that offices are bad, it's just we prefer retail.
Right. And I guess a real crucial question is how are you partnering differently with retailers than, let's say, some of the other shopping center owners? How are you getting them in? I know you're getting some big brands are on the way and announced or just secret that everyone knows, but what are you doing differently to really become partners with your retailers?
Well, I think obviously there are two answers to the question. One is you've got to own the dominant shopping centre in its catchment area. You can't have the second or the third or the fourth shopping centre in a catchment area. You have to own the dominant one. So that's what we have. So we're fortunate that the retailers, and obviously we have a scale now that the retailers, there's more of a partnership approach.
Right.
But the second thing we do, which is something very different from our peers, is we have something called EPP University. And what EPP University does is it works with the smaller retailers to help them. So if we see a retailer let's say its turnovers are dropping, is that university is a team of 5 to 6 people who go in and will help that retailer, on sales, on lighting, their online strategy. And what we've seen is that's been extremely successful. So we've seen many of the people who've gone through EPP University, the retailers come out the other side and have actually halved their OCRs, which is really important because it's these small tenants. So it's not only is it great to help, the smaller tenants, but also is that they're the highest paying customers in our shopping centre. And what's been very interesting, and I won't mention any names, but some of the bigger retailers now, when we're having a EPP University, was one particular company that insists that they send all of their staff to the EPP training.
Right, great. And how long does it take, or how many hours is the training class?
It depends on what we're doing. We do one generic one in each shopping centre, but if it's more for the smaller retailers, it's specified on sales or lighting or it depends what we believe that the retailer needs.
Right. So you have a consultant with them. Maybe they come through the shop and say this should be a little bit more lit, or that should be a little bit more brighter, or different color, different lighting. So it's interesting. Okay.
Well, it's also the big retailers and the small retailers. It's the quality and how well their staff are trained often determines whether that store is successful. So we spend also a lot of time in training the staff in how to approach customers, how to, say, oh, you should try this and do this, and so.
So even back to the basics of just good customer service probably is helping them right there.
Exactly.
So just one more question: what is your vision for EPP 24, 36 months out?
So by 2020, the summer of 2020, EPP will have 28 shopping centres, totaling 1.1 million square metres. And we're fast, we're a 2.2 billion euro company, and we're fast on our way to being a 3 billion euro company. And what we want to build EPP is, it's a Polish national champion. It's something that the whole of real estate industry can be proud of, because it's the biggest market, it's the most exciting market, and in my opinion, it's one of the most underserved markets. And what I love doing is going around the world, which is a big part of my job, and telling people what's happened in Poland and why this will continue. The economic good news story will continue to happen for the next 10 to 15 years.
Right, great. Hadley, thank you for your time, and
it's a real pleasure.
Good luck, and we'll see you at the next event.